tape in front of a live studio
But
audience.
I can't see the tag. I tagged you. I can't see it. There it is. Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. New Year's Eve. International.
Hey, some guy Mike Baker's watching.
That's me.
Oh,
Hey.
how the hell do you watching me, watching you, watching her?
It's like infinity or some shit.
I know.
We're at International where it all began, folks.
The magic.
The magic. All the shenanigans in the last year started at International.
That's right, man. We got a big show for you. We're going to talk a little bit about Dr. John's first album.
Yes, called Gris Gris.
Gris Gris,
And Gris Gris is like voodoo shit, so I got my wife here, Sandy, who knows a lot about voodoo shit, and we're going to talk about that. The expert.
Hello, people, and welcome to the Rockshow, episode 47. We're live from the International.
Yep.
It is 2020. It is January 12th.
Something like that. Happy New Year, motherfuckers.
Happy New Year, motherfucker. And we're here at the International.
International Bar.
And we're talking about the great Dr. John and his first album, Gris Gris.
Gris Gris.
Gris Gris.
Yeah.
And then
Dr. John passed away
Yo, yeah.
a few months ago.
Yeah, Dr. John did pass away.
You know.
And what Gris Gris is pretty much is some voodoo magic.
Well, it's like a little satchel that you make with stuff, right?
With roots. Yeah, with roots and stuff.
Herbs and things like that.
You know what it is? Once you make it, it works for you. It can help you get love. It can help you get money.
Love,
whatever
money.
you want.
There's a charm.
Anything you want.
It's like a charm. It's a charm.
And then you also gotta give it whiskey. You gotta give it rum and smoke it once in a while. You gotta put it for
A little
a candle.
shot, a little shot,
A little
rum
shot,
or
and
something.
you gotta put it, and you gotta like when you first do it, you gotta put your energy in there. You gotta rub it good, break down all the herbs.
Gotta make it with
spices.
love.
Gotta make it with love, and then that little. It's like you call the spirit, and you keep it in by you.
So
I have a few of them, because I got some motherfuckers that can go fuck themselves.
Since we're at International, let's do a little toast.
Oh yeah,
Sandy,
2020 bitches.
2020 motherfuckers. 2020, 24 hours to go.
Do you see what Gino wrote? Tell everybody put a post about the Ramones. Oh, right there, that is one.
This is Gris Gris.
Gris Gris.
Oh shit, what are you doing with this? Get out of here.
Actually, when he got the surgery, when she got the surgery, she took the balls. That's one of the balls.
And my balls are better than ever. Alright?
Yeah, you got one. The other one is in that bag.
My balls are always bouncing, my balls are always full, and everybody comes and comes again. Alright, let's get started on this motherfucker.
We are talking about, who the hell are we talking about? Dr. John.
Dr. John, the great musician from New Orleans.
Yep.
Okay, and he made an album, his debut album in 1968 called Gris Gris. And this is part of a new format that me and Rob are doing here, where we're going to be talking about the making of certain albums on big bands. We may not get into the history of the bands as much, but we're going to talk about the making of certain albums. Now, I love this album, okay? It's the first album from this guy.
That's right, it's the debut album.
Debut album.
And what a fucking album it is.
And nobody knew what the fuck to do with this album when it came out. But I got to give a little history of Dr. John so you can understand, okay? His real name was...
Mike, before you get that, how were the record sales from this album?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Didn't sell shit, okay? But it got popular, it got a cult status on FM radio. The hippies, college kids in the late 60s liked it. And over the years, it's become a big cult favorite. I mean, I think it was Rolling Stone put it at like 120 or 130 something greatest album of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, that's up there.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Dr. John, we know him as Dr. John, but he was born Mac Rebennack.
Yeah.
Rebennack on November 20th, 1941 in New Orleans. Now, that's old New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Okay? And he was exposed to jazz musicians at a very young age by his father. Okay? His father was like a bit of a, from what I understand, he was like a party animal kind of dude. Okay? Professor Longhair met the 13-year-old Dr. John. Mac Rebennack, okay? Professor Longhair was this piano-playing, songwriting, New Orleans hero, okay? You can look him up. Very interesting dude. Wrote some many great songs, played with a lot of people. At that point, Mac was playing guitar and piano, and he was working as a session player as a teenager, okay? He would be like, bands would pick him up when he was in New Orleans, and he would play with them at different clubs at like 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, his father, New Orleans is a very Catholic place. It used to be, it still is.
And also very mystical.
Yes. And his parents put him in Catholic school. Now, he was in the Jesuit Catholic high school. By age 18, he had signed up with Ace Records. He was releasing music with them. He was playing with different musicians on that label.
Yeah.
And he was playing with a lot of R&B guys like James Booker, Earl King, Jimmy Clanton, and the Jesuit priests at his school knew what he was up to and basically gave him an ultimatum. Said, it's music or it's school. Well, he said, fuck you, and he went to the music, okay?
Easily.
Now, in 1960, when he was 19 years old, he was shot in his finger, okay? And it was his playing finger on his left hand in order to fret the guitar. He had a problem with that after that. Okay? And he concentrated after that on his piano playing. And basically, he was up, Dr. John was a great guy, but, his early years, he was up to a lot of street stuff. He had a bad heroin habit. He also ran a brothel. So he was a pimp, okay? And he was selling dope out of the brothel, and he got busted.
And after that, Dr. John, his famous musician, was a pimp.
In the whole thing.
The whole thing.
He was a pimp. Selling heroin, he got busted. And he did 2 years in the Fort Worth Federal Prison in Texas. Now, in 1965, he was released from prison, and he decided to go back to New Orleans. But what was happening at that time in the mid-60s is the politicians in New Orleans decided to clean the city up.
Oh yeah, get rid of it.
They closed a lot of the clubs. It was a different place, and him and other session musicians were having problems finding work.
Yes.
So he said, fuck this shit, I'm going out to Los Angeles. And it was one of the best things he ever did, because when he got out there, he hooked up with what was called the Wrecking Crew. There's a great documentary on Netflix right now about the Wrecking Crew. You can check it out. They were session musicians that played with all these different people in the 60s. A lot of songs you'll hear, and the musical parts are played by these guys.
Oh yeah.
Glenn Campbell was one of them.
Wow.
A lot of New Orleans guys ended up out there, and Mac actually backed Sonny and Cher. Okay, and Sonny and Cher made a movie called Chastity.
Yeah.
Okay, which is named after their kid Chaz. Chastity. Okay, and
Chad Bono.
Chaz Bono. Yep. And real name is Chastity. And it's a good movie. I have it at home. I don't know if I ever played it for you, but I have it. He also played on 2 Canned Heat albums.
Wow.
And he played on Frank Zappa's Freak Out album.
Wow, I didn't know
That
that.
was in 1966, yeah. Later on, he would go on to play with the Rolling Stones, Exile on Main Street. played on some keyboards on that, but early on he was doing a lot of session work. Now, being from New Orleans, especially old New Orleans, Mac had a lot of voodoo influence. All right?
Definitely voodoo.
And he had an idea where he was going to take this voodoo influence, particularly a legend about Dr. John. Okay? Dr. John
It's a character.
is a character. It's based on what's considered a real person. Okay? Because we get a little more lumped up here. Hold on a second.
Oh yeah.
Fuck. And he had this idea where he was going to take this legend of Dr. John. Now, let me tell you who Dr. John was. He was from Haiti, okay, originally from Senegal in Africa.
Senegal.
Through Haiti, after the Haitian Revolution, came to the United States in the New Orleans area. And he called himself a prince, okay? And he basically was a medicine man. He lived out on the bayou. Okay, Scott, how you doing, man? He lived out on the bayou, and he raised snakes. Okay, he lived with snakes. He was a spiritual healer. All right, and he had human skulls and shit, you know, all over the fucking place. Right? And he used to sell Gris Gris.
Gris Gris.
Okay.
A little
Gris Gris.
magic.
And Gris Gris is, you know, a little satchel I showed you of stuff. And there's a charm, and you know, he sold that stuff. Okay. So Dr. John
But you know
was
what,
a medicine man.
You know what goes into a Gris Gris, right?
But
So you gotta, you gotta get, first you gotta get what color it's gonna be. If you get one for love, it's red. You can get one green, it's for money. And what you do, you put a bunch of herbs, spices, all these things, you crush it, and you put it in. But you gotta have a candle, a white candle. You also gotta have water. Water over the track.
See, but your background is like more of a Santeria.
Yeah, but it's the same
and
thing.
her background is, you know, Haitian voodoo.
But we know how to
It's
do
very similar.
We know how to, we know how to do Gris Gris.
Yeah.
So when you do this Gris Gris, you're like cutting, it's like you're making a soul, a body. It got all the organs, so all the herbs and spices and all that thing is the organ. You need certain things. Then you put it in there, right?
Yeah.
And you spray the herb with cigar and rum.
Right.
You do that to each one, and then you pray on it, and you pray on each herb. You know, you do a day, make it work for me, do this, that, and then you put it in this thing. It's amazing. And then you need a rope, and you got to tie it like the cross 3 times, rub it, and then you make like 3 7 knots. And then you got to leave it, you got to spray it again with rum, smoke from a cigar, and the water.
Put a shot of
And
rum
then you gotta feed it some oil also. You give it some oil because it needs to eat right away because it's hungry. It's a brand new. And then you leave it in front of the candles for 24 hours. And then it's a living spirit.
Living spirit.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's simple, yeah.
Mac Rebenbach, okay, he had a friend named Ronnie Barry, and he was going to give him the role of this Dr. John. Mac was thinking about a stage show.
Yeah.
He was thinking about a stage show with Dr. John, and he would do the music. Okay? But what happened is Ronnie backed out of the project.
Okay.
And Dr. John, well, Mac back then said, "I will take on the role of Dr. John. I'll take on that character."
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did Screaming Jay Hawker get a lot of influence for Dr. John?
You know, that's a good question. I wouldn't be surprised. I've never heard that Dr. John say I was influenced by Screaming Jay.
But he had to be. They're very influential.
He had to be, Screamin' Jay was older.
Yeah.
Okay, he had to know about Screamin' Jay's R&B music coming to New Orleans. Had to be.
Yeah.
Had to be.
Imagine a Billboard.
There used to be something called the Chitlin Circuit. Okay? The Chitlin Circuit back in the South.
Yeah.
All the black musicians knew each other.
Yeah.
And it had to be. I mean, Screamin' Jay. We did that show on
Yeah.
Screamin' Jay. He did the Chitlin Circuit, and he had to have come to New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe I don't know if he played with Dr. John. And, Dr. John was a Sessions, but he knew who he was.
Imagine like those sons, Screaming Jay Hawkins and Dr. John.
That'd be fucked up.
That could be a Halloween thing.
That'd be a Halloween show. But what had happened is Ronnie Barron backed out of the project for I don't know why, but he did. And Mac said, okay, I'll take over as the Dr. John character. And he came to, there was an arranger named Harold Battisti, okay? And he had this idea he was going to produce this album with him, and it would be like an R&B, voodoo, psychedelic album.
Oh, sounds good, man.
I mean, it's perfect.
It's beautiful.
But different. Never done before.
Nah, nothing like that.
Atlantic Records, which would be not Atlantic, sorry, ACCO Records, which was a subdivision of A&M Records, would put this album out, and Dr. John was working with the Atlantic Records president, Ahmet Ertegun, and he put this out, but he was also a sessions guy, and Ahmet knew who he was, and when the album came out, he kind of did it on the slide.
Yeah.
Like he did this album like with, other people's. Sonny and Cher had reserved hours, and they didn't take it, so he took their hours.
Oh, so he did it.
He did it like on the sneak. Okay.
If you're gonna do something, that's the way to do
Exactly.
it.
Now, Ahmet Ertegun of Atlantic Records one day realized he's got this album, and he shows up to where Dr. John is in the studio, and he's like, what am I gonna fucking do with this boogaloo shit? All right, you're giving me this album, okay? I want to tell you, the musicians on the album, it's amazing, okay? You got Dr. John on vocals, keyboards, and percussion. Dr. Battisti, everybody was called Doctor,
Yeah.
okay? Sometimes they were called Governor, they were called different things like Savannah Governor, okay? Right? Dr. Battisti was on bass, okay, clarinet, percussion, and he did all the arrangements. Richard, also known as Dr. Ditmas Washington, was on percussion. You had a Senator, Bob West, okay, on bass. Dr. John Boudreau on drums. Governor Plaz Johnson on saxophone. Dr. Lonnie Boulder on flute. Dr. Steve Mann on bottleneck guitar and banjo. Dr. McLean on guitar and mandolin.
That's a lot of doctors.
Mo Dito Pedito on congas. Dave Dixon and Jesse Hill. Ronnie Barron, okay, on backing vocals and percussion. Joni Johns and Prince Ella Johnson. Shirley Goodman, Sonny Ray Durden, Tanny Lynn on backing vocals. Harold Battisti was the producer.
That's a hell of a lot of
Now, I want to read from you. This, Dr. John wrote a book right here, motherfuckers.
I'm going to get it,
Okay? You go do that. Okay?
You need another shot?
No, I'm good. I got a little bit left. Alright, this Dr. John autobiography came out a while back. I want to read like 2 pages from it because it really talks about this first album and what happened. Alright. In 1962, after a couple of years of studio and other kinds of side tripping in LA, this is Dr. John's works. Me and my New Orleans partners in exile finally fell into a situation where we could cut an LP on an idea I'd had on since I left New Orleans. I had always thought we could work up an interesting New Orleans-based concept behind the persona of the legendary conjure man, Dr. John. This would not only allow for a dash of Gris Gris in the lyrics and a view of an untapped side of New Orleans, but would also let us musicians get into a stretched out New Orleans groove. With the help of Harold Battisti, who would produce the album, we recorded at Gold Star Studios. Between sessions, Sonny and Cher were doing their Atlantic Records. The album we created, called Gris Gris, was heavy on rhythm, percussion, and guitar, and light on keyboards. I did play some organ, as on the songs Mama Ru and Dance Kalinda, but stuck mostly to guitar. Steve Mann and Ernest McLean also played guitar on the section. On some songs, we used two basses. Harold Battisti and Bob West played bass. And our percussionist, Didymus, also doubled up on a bunch more instruments with the rest of us cats. We were looking for an unusual textured sound, and the cats nailed it. Naturally, we wanted the album to sell, but we weren't into bending our music to fit somebody else what the market was about. First and foremost, we were into it for the music. The attitude isn't often appreciated by record companies. To give you, for instance, at one point later on, I was doing a session for Bobby Darin when Ahmed Erdogan walked into the studio looking for me. He was pissed off, wanting to know what this Gris Gris album was all about. He was walking around the studio yelling at me, "Why do you give me this shit? How can we market this boogaloo crap?" He was stuck with a record that was done on the slide, and he was acting as if he wouldn't release it. But he was of the mind that a hip record might sell if it was pitched the right way. The way we was looking at music making was that it was circular in its groove, with no corners. That was what the old-time hipsters had meant by hip. Something that hadn't been squared off to fit into some kind of computerized market nightmare. In any event, Ahmed must have sensed something happening. We made 5 more albums for Atlantic before the deal fell through. Our theme song of that time, the first cut on the album, was Gris Gris Gumbo Ya Ya. It framed a mental picture of an imagined New Orleans and put our main character, Dr. John, out front and center. That's from his autobiography.
That's fantastic.
It is. Okay. Now I want to talk about some of the tracks on there.
So this album was about 33 minutes long, and the two longest songs are the first song and the last song.
Right.
And it was only 7 songs.
Only 7 songs.
But these songs will haunt you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Now Gumbo Ya Ya is amazing.
Yeah,
okay?
he goes through some trance.
Now, the track for me, though, is the last track, which is called I Walk on Gilded Splinters.
That's a great track.
Right, now...
He talks Creole.
Right, now, most of the album he talks Creole. My beautiful wife here speaks Creole.
Do you speak that? What the hell was he talking about?
That's Creole you don't even know, right?
You don't even, yeah.
There's different Creoles.
Is that
He was talking to
Now,
was he possessed when he did that? He definitely was possessed. Because he definitely went through a trance. Because I felt it.
Right. Now, I remember when me and you went down to New Orleans in 2012. And yeah, it's been 7 years already. Yeah, almost 8 years. Yeah, we got to get down there again. Okay. And I played for you this album, and I remember you were listening to it, and you were going, I know these songs. I know this chanting that he's saying, because you remember back in Haiti, they were doing this. Yeah.
Having service for my father's cousin's house, and a place called Akaye. And they use when the spirit's coming, and then when they used to sing those songs. And then that's to invite the spirits to come. And every spirit have their own lyrics.
Remember in I Walk on Gilded Splinters when that lyric was like, did I murder? Did I murder? You were like, this is like part of this was part of something that you knew. So the Creole was a little different from what she was used to. Louisiana, but the songs were the same. Exactly. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. The first song is called Gris Gris Gumbo Ya Ya. Okay.
That's a great Gris
Now,
Gris.
who doesn't love gumbo?
I love gumbo, damn it.
Fuck, man.
Gumbo is delicious.
Gumbo is the best food you can eat. I'm sorry. You know, and
I wonder if they have vegan gumbo.
I don't eat meat anymore, and which might be a problem with gumbo, but I would cheat with that.
Sandy can make a gumbo that you think you have meat in it.
I would cheat on that shit.
Let me tell you, gumbo's delicious, man. I had some good gumbo, man, and it's nothing like gumbo.
Now, you have never actually been to New Orleans, right?
No, I need to go.
You need to go. All right. I'll take it when we go. I'll take you down to Checkpoint Charlie's. In the back of the bar, you can do your laundry. Okay.
I also need to take my next level of spirituality to the next level.
It's a spiritual place.
I need to open my third eye and do some real voodoo magic.
Third eye. Yep, definitely.
I'll turn some motherfucker to a frog.
We should all go down there.
The next time I get a bad temper, frog.
Frog.
Ribbit.
Ribbit.
The spirit don't come out like that. If you have a bad temper, if you are angry, it will not come out.
Now, Dr. John went on to an illustrious career of his own music. By the early 70s, he had that big hit, must have been the right place, must have been the wrong time, that whole big thing. But he went on to make some great music. He played with the Stones on Exile on Main Street. He had his own stuff. Look him up on YouTube. There's some great interviews with him.
Oh, yeah.
The guy was a character.
I kind of enjoyed the second song.
Which one?
The second song in the album.
Dance Kalinda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ba-boom.
Now let me ask you, Sandy, okay? Dance Kalinda, it's spelled D-A-N-S-E. Kalinda. Does that mean anything? Is this a different way of spelling it?
Yeah.
Okay. And Mama Ru?
Mama Ru is another one.
Mama Ru is the third song, and a roux is the base of every
Gumbo.
New Orleans gumbo.
Yeah.
Okay, you can take. I made it. You take like oil and peanut butter, mix that shit, okay, and flour. You get and you get into that shit.
You get the roux.
Yeah. Mama Ru, okay. The fourth song was called Dance Flambeau. But D-A-N-S-E, does that mean dance?
Yeah, that's dance.
In French?
Dance?
Dance.
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 I like to dance. Like right now I'm dancing. Yeah.
I don't know nothing about French. Okay. Unless it's a white flag. I know a lot about it.
Wow, you went there.
I went there, motherfucker.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, fuck them. Well, that's all I got today for this fucking shit, man. Yeah.
How about that last song was great, the Walking on Golden
Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Walk on Gilded Splinters. A lot of people have covered that song. It's
But
great.
that song, like, he went into incantation there, and he was talking some magical shit when he was doing that song.
in between the vocals saying like, "Did I murder? Did I murder?" There's all this like chanting.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
a
know
lot
what
of
the fuck
chanting.
they're saying. It's Creole, but see, it wasn't Haitian Creole, right? It was Louisiana Creole. Some broken Creole.
Why is it broken Creole? Why can Creole be Creole?
There's different. Listen, when
There's different dialect. It's like Chinese. You got Fujianese, Cantonese.
Sandy has a lot of family. Sandy has a lot of family from Port-au-Prince.
Oh, Port-au-Prince.
And the Creole there is different than the Creole in the country.
Oh.
North. They can't. She could have people in her family. They don't know what the fuck she's talking. They don't know what the fuck she's saying.
So you mean it's like the duck talking to the chicken then?
Yeah, exactly.
Quack, quack.
Quack quack.
Peachy, peachy. So yeah, Dr. John was quite a character, but when I started listening to the album, I was very impressed. And you know what? It's an album that scared people also. And
It's a scary album.
And imagine, it came in 1968.
Yeah.
And not too many records, but then later on, it got like one of these cult followings.
It became a cult following. I think it's his best work.
It is his best work.
You know, he made an album called Babylon after that, a couple others. You know, I had tickets for Dr. John in Brooklyn back in, God, what was that, 2013 maybe or something? But he had heart trouble and they canceled the shows. I got my money back, and that was the end. He never performed again.
Now that this album been out for so many years, it's kind of a success story then.
So what?
It was successful then. It's a success story, but they had to make the money back after years of being out.
I mean, I don't think it's gold or platinum or anything.
Oh no,
like
but
that,
I think
but
it definitely.
it made money. All right, brother.
You tell me this album hasn't made gold or like,
No, I don't
why
think
it needs
so.
to sell $1 million album? You think it only sold like a few
A
100,000?
few 100,000 maybe. You know, I think everybody should buy it. It's an interesting album. Dr. John is an interesting cat. Sadly, he's gone now.
Yeah.
You know, he died about, I think he was 79 when he died. Yeah, he lived a long life, you know. But, you know, everybody I like is dead. That's the fucking problem.
All my friends are dead.
All my friends are dead.
And then, oh, my friends are dead. And in that note, remember people, Happy New Year,
Yeah.
you ungrateful bastards.
We'll
Go
see
to
you
hell.
soon, and
And remember, don't get drunk, get lumped up.
Cheers.
Exactly.
Fuck you all.